somebody that can help them invest that money.
Invest that money and grow it. Why don't
That's
you
right.
introduce our next guest?
We have Joe Kringdon. Joe is the Executive Vice President of Pioneer Investments. Joe, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Nice to have you on, Joe. Why don't you give our listeners a little perspective, a little background on Pioneer Investments? What do you guys do?
Pioneer Investments is in the asset management business, i.e. we manage people's money, and we do it through financial intermediaries. That is, we work through financial advisors, whether they be at Merrill Lynch, LPL, Edward Jones, etc. We've been around since 1928, one of the oldest mutual fund companies in the United States, founded by a gentleman named Phil Carret. And Phil Carret is the grandfather, if you will, of value investing. In fact, Warren Buffett said if there were a Hall of Fame of value investing, Phil Carret would have been the first inductee.
Wonderful. So you guys are sort of the back end, so to speak. So you have intermediaries bring to you, and you guys are
Yes.
the actual funds that,
Yes.
that people invest in.
Yes.
So you
So-
got the analysts and the researchers and
Correct.
all the good stuff.
Correct. You know, basically financial advisors speak to their clients about their needs, their wants, their risk parameters, their goals, etc., and then use various investment vehicles to provide a proper asset allocation to meet those goals. And then they use us and perhaps others to fit the pieces in that asset allocation.
So you probably hear this all the time, and it's probably getting old several years into what we consider a volatile economy, a volatile world economy.
Yeah.
But curious, so we hear people talking all the time about getting to the other side of this recession, and others saying we don't see it. What economists may be saying and what the average American is feeling may be two different things, and we know there's a lag associated with it. From your perspective, what's going on? I know that may be a mouthful as the first question.
No,
but-
well, I think it's life. I've been doing this for a long time, 30 years, and one thing I learned is that investing is a dynamic. There's no beginning and ending. It's an ongoing pursuit. And I think what sometimes people confuse is they always say, is it a good time to invest? And the answer is yes and no. I think you have to decide ahead of time, what are my goals, what are my time frames, and then you start to invest. Volatility is definitely concerns people and keeps people from doing things, and/or it scares them from investing over the long term. But volatility also can be your friend. It's an old adage that you buy low, sell high. Well, unless you have volatility, i.e. scaring people out of markets, you won't have those low entry points.
Right. And the corollary to that is you can't time the market.
Correct.